Hello, my name is Zach Neal with Potomac Custom Remodeling. I am here to conduct a repairability assessment. This repairability assessment is going to be on claim number 0886, X as in X-ray, 427, N as in Nancy. That again is 0886, X as in X-ray, 427, N as in Nancy. It is currently 12:50 p.m. and it is a beautiful 74 degrees outside. Here I have my control area. This is the area I will not be doing any of the work in. I have just marked it out to show you what happens if no repairs are being done. And this is my work area. This is where I will be doing the work, removing the shingles. My lines are a little off, I apologize on that. I'll be removing this bottom shingle here. I will be manipulating the 3 shingles above these 4 tabs here and these 3 tabs there in order to conduct this repair. Here I have my tools that I'll be working with. I have my roof snake, which is the preferred tool of State Farm. I have my hammer. I have my 1 1/4" roofing nails. I have my shingle. And I have my chalk that I use to mark out this beautiful area with. That being said, I will go ahead and set my phone down in an area where we can see everything. Oh, that's too high. There we go. All right, I will now put on my other glove and I will begin by unsealing the tabs to be able to locate the nails for removal. I will attempt this by being as careful as possible, trying to not lift the shingles more than 45 degrees. And I will start this now. Like I said, I will start by unsealing the shingle tabs. Bottom row of 3 is unsealed. 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 On to the last row here. Okay. I've got all my tabs unsealed. I will now begin by removing the nails. It should be 2 rows of 4 that I have to remove here. So I'll begin by slightly lifting this one up. Okay. There's one. Get under there. 2. 3, and should be the last nail here. So already we have some significant signs of mat transfer that I can see. The sealant strips are starting to really pull up the granules of the shingle underneath, which is not a good sign. But I will begin by removing the next row of nails. Again, trying to be as careful as possible. Having some nail pull through here. The nails are pulling right through the shingle, which again, not a good sign for repairability. It's causing some tearing on the shingles here. Again, I'm trying to be as careful as possible with my roof snake and the shingles themselves, trying not to lift them above a 45 degree. We're getting a significant amount of tearing around the nail holes, unfortunately. Again, another nail pull through. but that should be the last nail. It was, okay. Great, here we are. So I'll go ahead, show you a couple concerns we have, repairability wise. So, is it able to see it on me? Yeah, perfect. Okay, so we've got some signs of mat transfer here. That is where the sealant of the shingles, either above or below, tear up the fiberglass matting or the granules, the asphalt granules from the shingle above or below, which is diminishing the water shedding capabilities of the shingles. So we can see we've got some mat transfer here and here. Moving along, some more mat transfer right here. And then you can see right here where the nail pull through actually tore the shingle slightly. And then I'll go ahead and show the back. We've got a significant amount of mat transfer across the back here, trying to set this up nicely. Mat transfer, mat transfer, mat transfer. Some more matting transfer. And then some more matting transfer along the back sealant strip. Again, not a very good sign for repairability of the roofing system. As like I said, this is diminishing the water shedding capabilities of the shingles remaining on the roof. Already, I can see this beginning of creasing across the tabs, which again, not a good sign of this repair. It's only gonna become worse when we start hammering, but nonetheless, we'll continue and then do an overview at the end. So, I will begin by situating the new shingle in place for the repair. Try and get it lined up as perfectly as you can. Okay, there we go. She's lined up nicely. I will now get my 1 1/4" roofing nails and my roofing snake to begin the re-nailing process. Again, 2 rows of 4 is what is the manufacturer's installation instructions on this. So I will go ahead and begin with the first row of 4. And I'll set it up in the roofing snake for the most clear nailing zone. Not the greatest angle for the roofing snake here. Roofing snake doesn't help a whole lot with nailing in anyway, but again, I'll start this over again. There we go. Go ahead and hit it flush. Second nail. And we will go ahead, hit the nail down flush. Third nail. Roof snake does not grab the nail in the best way possible. Flush. Beautiful. Last nail in this row. And flush. There's an extreme amount of granular loss happening as I'm putting this shingle back in. As you can see, I'm completely covered in these granules, and it's all coming from the shingles above, which is all stemming from the fact that these shingles here are starting to crease at their top line here, up at the top, which again is a sign that this roof may not be in the most repairable condition. We are into the last row of 4 here. I'm going to try put these nails. Unfortunately, I can't put them back in the previous nail holes because the nail holes are torn. So that means there's now holes left in these shingles, which again is not a good sign for repairability. The fact that the nail holes are torn means that this nail, even if we put it back in the same nail hole, will not hold the shingle in securely, which now means we have holes in the shingles above, which again is a water concern. Again, trying not to lift these shingles above 45 degrees as best I can. Last 2 nails. Again, unfortunately, I can't put these nails back in the same spot. And she's down flush. Last nail, and then we'll go ahead and review the state the shingles are now left in. Just the angle of the roof snake sometimes. Is it still recording? Yep, perfect. All right, last nail. And now we hit it flush. Okay. All right, we are all finished. I'm going to bring you over, show you a couple concerns here. Okay, we are still rolling. Beautiful. So, a couple concerns that I have in my work area here. First off, you can see these shingles are starting to crease at the top. At the top here, these granules, see like this? This shingle just broke. This piece was broke just from me lifting the shingle above. I'm gonna go ahead and show that. From me lifting this shingle above, it broke that corner due to the brittleness, which is not a good sign. And this side is the one that gets baked on the sun. You would hope these were more pliable. Unfortunately, you can see the creasing starting to develop at the top of these shingles. The creasing starting to develop. Look, the shingle's starting to seal, but it's starting to crease. You can see it right here, that crease line. Same thing with this tab here. This tab here, you can see it's starting to crease right at the top. Same thing with this tab here. You can see the creasing starting at the top of the shingle. And then again, this layer above, creasing starting to happen across the top of the shingle, and this corner of the shingle above broke right off just by lifting this shingle. Not a good sign. This shingle, same thing. We're starting to see some creasing develop. Same thing right here. We're starting to see some creasing develop along this edge here. Not to mention, if we look underneath, we see some mat transfer right there. But let's look at the layer above. Okay, we see some mat transfer. As you can see, that nail hole is torn. The nail can't even go in there flush anymore. So now we have nail holes left. We've got more matting transfer across the whole strip line. You can see right there, more mat transfer. Let's see. More matting transfer. That's a really bad spot right there. Really bad spot right there. Let me focus the camera right there. Not to mention, again, these nail holes have now torn, causing the area to be less water resistant, meaning the water shedding capabilities of these shingles have now diminished. And also you can see the chalk lines, extreme granular loss. But as you can see from the creasing on the shingles above and the tore shingle right there, the mat transfer that has happened to the sealant strips below, and then we compare that to our control area, none of these shingles have any tears, none of these shingles are creased, none of these shingles have any mat transfer. These shingles are overall completely unfazed. Whereas this repair, we've got extreme granular loss. We've got creasing starting across every single tab that we manipulated. We have a torn shingle corner right there, and we have nail holes with tears and matting transfer causing additional diminished water shedding capabilities. So again, based on that, and you can see right there, I lift up this to 45 degrees, you can see where the crease line is beginning. That's a 45-degree angle, and you can see the crease line developing right at the top of the shingle. Same thing right here. We'll go ahead and lift that to 45 degrees, and you can see that crease line developing at the top of the shingle. So again, if we continue this repair across the roof, all that's going to happen is a cascading effect across the entire roofing system, which is then going to cause additional damage. Just by working this one shingle in replacement, we have now damaged 3 additional shingles, which again, if we damage even one shingle during a repair, that is not a suitable repair. That roof would not be repairable. So, given that, I unfortunately have to fail this repair assessment for the sake of creasing, for the sake of mat transfer, and the sake of tearing. I have to fail repair assessment for claim number 0886, X as in X-ray, 427, N as in Nancy. Again, I unfortunately have to fail this repair assessment due to the additional damages that have occurred during the repair assessment. My name is Zach Neal with Potomac Custom Remodeling, and I hope you have a wonderful day.